put you on with Lars. Since we are recording and your two levels are different, try to just let him finish talking before you start so that you're not stepping on each other.
Most certainly.
Okay?
Sure.
Hold on.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, Lars?
I'm all right. Just waking up down here in Long Island.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's still very early,
I hear you.
especially on this kind of schedule that we're on at the moment, you know.
Uh-huh.
How you doing?
Oh, very good, very good. Last night on Fingers Metal Shop, we had a special half-hour segment of the show dedicated to Metallica and Ozzy.
Yeah?
And I'm telling you, there's a lot of hype going on out here tonight's show.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Babylon.
Babylon.
Yes,
That sounds like far away.
yeah, it sounds like it, but it's right in the heart of Long Island.
So it's just around the corner, huh?
It's the home of WBAB, which is the #1 rock station on the Long Island circuit. And you're getting a lot of good support from BAB as well as the rest of the nation. Last time I looked, I believe you were number 30 on the...
Yeah, with a bullet. Unfortunately, next week we lose the bullet, but stay in the same place,
Well, it's been
which is good.
a long ride from the first demo tape to now. It must feel good to be up there now, huh?
Yeah, although it's like, I mean, it's still the same basic principles within this band, you know, it's just on a bit higher level, you know. But I mean, still the same four idiots, you know, trying to stay in tune and stay on time.
I think that's the best thing about Metallica is the image and the attitude of the band has never changed and been hindered with the success. Would that be a correct statement?
I think that's fairly correct, yeah. I mean, I look at it as, you know, some of the bands that we know and have toured with in the past, or it's like four sort of businessmen surrounded around that one object of sort of just making money before they're like, you know, so old that they can't stand up anymore. But with this band, it's just, you know, a bunch of kids like just sort of having a good time doing what we want, playing the sort of songs that we want to play, and just sort of having an occasional drink and whatever not. And it's just like, I mean, the basic principles are like the same as they were, you know, 5 years ago when we were starting out in the garage, just like on a bit higher level, like I said, you know. And it's cool because like we're so lucky with the situation that we're in at the moment with the management and the record company that we have, you know. They really they make sure that no one interferes with what we're doing, you know. And it's just really good from the business side not to have any interference with people saying, well, you have to do this, that, and the other, you know, because that would just create, you know, a lot of problems because, you know, we're not about to change for anyone, and they just know that I mean, to sort of keep whatever is in Metallica, they just try and keep that sort of there, you know, and they see from their point of view that it sells, you know, so they're smiling just like we are most of the time.
That's good. What kind of impact do you think your music... on a personal level, to be honest with you, when I first started getting into this new type of heavy metal, it took time to acquire a taste for it.
Well, it's just a bit different than, I mean, I think that what we're doing at the moment is, you know, quite a bit different from what people have heard before, you know, and which I think is, you know, one of the main reasons, of course, that we're coming across so well, you know, and selling so many records. It's the kids have like, there's never really been a band that played something, you know, that sounded a bit different from the other bands, but at the same time sort of was completely on the level with the kids, you know. As far as I can see, there are like two distinctly different ways that you can sort of come across, you know, to the kids out there. And I think that they just sort of look to us as being completely on the level, you know. We're just like them. We're just the people just playing the music or whatever. There's nothing wrong with having this sort of larger-than-life image or whatever, but we're just quite different from that, you know. I think a lot of the kids out there really sort of associate themselves well with what we're doing, you know. It's sort of like a street thing instead of us trying to sort of be, you know, larger than life characters that, you know, it's like a huge pretend thing, you know. We might as well be movie actors or something, you know. And it's like they just associate well with that way of coming across, you know. It's cool.
Is this the way you had pictured it, say 5-6 years ago when Lars Ulrich started a band? Is this what you had pictured?
I mean, I'm the kind of person, I don't really picture that many things, you know. I don't think that much ahead, which is like the whole thing with the whole band. I mean, we just sort of go about doing what we do on a sort of a day-to-day basis. We don't say, well, you know, next year we have to have sold so many albums and the album has to be platinum by this and this date, or else we're failing, and you know, the next album, you know, I mean, we don't think ahead that much. We just sort of, it's funny because like mostly, like when I do most of the press, it's like I find myself sitting afterwards and analyzing what we did, you know, 3 months ago when we actually did it, you know. Because like when we do it, we don't really think that much about what we're doing. It's like the old, bullshit. It's just like a natural feeling type thing, But it's really true when we like write the songs and go about doing what we do. It just sort of happens, and then it's like afterwards that I have to sit, in interviews and think about why we did it, And there's not really that much thought going into what we do, So it's like, 6 years ago, just like it was just great to be, playing in a band, playing some of the songs that I wanted to be playing. Just sort of, for me, the interesting thing was always that sort of band spirit and being in a band, and sort of playing with other people and writing your own songs and all that. And it was just, 5 years ago, great to be doing it on that level, and now we're just doing it on a different level, but it's still, the same basic principles,
What kind of an impact do you think your music is going to have on the future of heavy metal?
Well, I think that, we're showing quite a bunch of people, definitely in the business, that, it is actually possible to do this without airplay, without videos, without sort of having a huge image or whatever. It's just possible to go out and play the sort of music that you want to play and do your own thing and just sort of come across on a completely on the level way, And I think that maybe some of the people in some of the high-rise offices have sort of not realized that there actually was as many people out there for a band like us that there actually is, And that might be one of the things that we're showing someone, but just basically doing what we want. And like I said before, it's just great being in a business situation where we have that opportunity,
Yeah, you have full reign over each project that you...
Yeah, it's like, no one gets involved with anything in terms of, songwriting or recording or production or anything like that, And I think maybe... especially working with Elektra, because they're such a open-minded company in that sense, I think it's showing a lot of other companies in a way that sort of, it is actually possible to leave the artist, to just do what he wants, if they have enough confidence in him, We're just very happy because Elektra here on the wall are very, very sort of confident in what we're doing and just being great to work with, That should earn me a free dinner. Good plug, yeah.
I noticed that Metallica writes about like real things.
Real things, yes. It's a real world, so we write about real things.
With this latest album, Master of Puppets, which I must comment that it is the most outstanding album, and I've said it on the air, that
Ooh.
this is the album of the year.
Big words, thank you.
And what I want to know is this a political stance as far as where Metallica stands, maybe on their thoughts about, specifically like in Disposable Heroes and the album cover? What's Metallica trying to say?
Well, like I said before, we're not trying to take advantage of the situation that we're in at the moment, where a lot of people obviously listen to what we're doing. It's very easy to sit down and write about, chasing girls down the freeway in your Camaro or whatever, but it's just kind of boring and predictable and overdone, It's just more interesting from our point of view to write about some more real things, but at the same time, I'm very careful not to sort of use the position that we're in at the moment to sort of make any big statements or whatever. We're just questioning a few things, and sort of writing about some of the shit around us that interests us instead of...
Let me ask you, with the songs on the album, none of them being under 5 minutes, obviously you had no care in the world if radio picked up on this or not. Would that be a correct statement?
Very correct.
And obviously you're doing well with sales and in the concerts too. How's the
It's going great, really great. They're being really, really great to tour with, because like they're giving us 55 minutes, and we have they're giving us the opportunity to use our own specially made stage set, and it's like, I think they've realized, the whole organization, that if we go out and give the audience a good kick, then get him really fired up and get him energetic, that when Ozzy comes out, he's, the audience are going to be even more receptive to what he's doing, So it sort of works both ways. And I think Ozzy's reached the point now where he's, so big and so also confident in what he's doing, that there's no need to give, support acts like us a hard time, because like I said, the harder we go out and get the audience sort of energized and sort of ready for sort of the big man himself, the better he's going to go down.